So yeah, thank you, Stephanie, for having me. And it's always humbling to hear someone else describe what it's so shocking to me that I'm doing what I'm doing. This is nothing I ever planned for, nothing I ever would have imagined that I would make a career out of. My coach is Megan Eggleston, who is a top 50 coach. She is a 10-star diamond, and I did her very first challenge group with her that she ever had. And she did it when T25 came out. I joined her challenge group. I was about 40 pounds overweight and really was looking for the encouragement that she was offering me. And I jumped into her group and I never looked back. I joined every challenge group I could get in, any free group, because she started doing free groups right after her first paid challenge of T25. I joined any, no sweets group she had. I ate it up. And I do think that that is something that I find valuable, like a lesson I learned from that, in that I think that my strongest coaches have been my best challengers, because I was posting in every challenge group. I was putting new meals up. I just was all in 100%. And I feel like my best coaches on my team, my most productive coaches, have kind of come from that same place. And maybe that's because they're attracted, to like-minded people, but I think there's something to be said for that. So she asked me to coach about 6 times, and I told her, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. I'm overweight. I am not coaching. And it wasn't, I think it was around December of 2013. She invited me again, and I said no again. And she's like, you don't even want to get the discount? I was like, nope, I'm good drinking my Shakeology at full price. And it wasn't until P90X3 came out and she started putting up that she was doing a new group, and I saw that my brother-in-law was going to join her group, and my sister, and these were people who are already, and my neighbors, people who are already asking me questions about, what I was doing. I was like, you know what, I am going to do this. And my husband worked a lot of hours. It was kind of something that I was like, well, maybe I can make this a little something for me. I just was a stay-at-home mom. I got a lot of joy out of that. I wasn't really looking for more, but I was like, maybe it could be a little hobby. So I did my first free 5-day group in March of 2014, fell in love with helping people. I only had 7 people in that group, and it was my mom, her best friend, and about 5 friends, 2 from Tampa, Florida, where I had lived for 10 years, and a couple from up in New York. And, I was like, I'll just try 5 days, see how it goes. And right after, they were like, well, what's next? And I was like, well, why don't I, there's this new program. It's called the 21 Day Fix. Does anyone want to join? And 5 of them said yes, to a challenge pack. So I went right into my first paid challenge. I was in March of 2014, and I've hit Success Club ever since. But it really was not something I was looking for, but I did find some new life and enjoyment and something for me to do to help others. Basically, I have figured out that all my success is boiled down to the success of my free groups. And I still do them as an elite coach. I'm still doing them every single month. I know this is not for everybody, but I do find that, for most of my team, this is where they earn their Success Club points. So I'm going to go through the process of what I do. I'm going to share with you all when I'm done one of my menus I put together. I do have 15 menus now, but that's only because this is my niche, and it's not everybody's niche. I want you to be very clear on that. I don't have expectations of my team members to be making menus every month. I think I'm attracting people who are like me, who like to do stuff like that. But I still have people on my team who are like, I cannot put one together. So I gift my menus to them. And then I give to my team. But I would love to gift one to your team so that you guys have it. I love to cook. It is a passion of mine. It always has been. It used to be butter and sugar. And I kind of find it challenging and exciting to take my mom's recipes and figure out how to make them healthy. So we have a plethora of menus on our team, but what I want to say about that is that they're not necessary. You don't need a lot of menus. I have a lot of girls who are like, I need a new menu every month. I'm like, no, you really don't, because what is valuable is you and what you're pouring into the people in your 5-day groups. Yes, a menu is nice, and I'm sure it does bring in a few extra people, but the people who really want to make lifestyle changes and who really are the people you want to be working with, they don't need a new menu every month. So I want to put that disclaimer out there. And there are other avenues too that on my team that people have had much success with, like plank and water challenges, or I'm trying to think what else. Just like the no sugar, no bread, no soda challenges. So that you can kind of take these concepts and these ideas and the formula for a clean eating challenge and apply it to what you feel like you would bring most value to your people with. So the point of a 5-day or a free group is to build relationships with people, to draw in new contacts, build relationships, build trust with these people so that they then will trust you, with taking the next step and possibly purchasing a challenge pack. So, I come into every free group with that in mind every single month. And it's something I have to kind of train my mind to think, because sometimes you just get stuck up and stuck with the nitty gritty and you're like, I'm just going through the motions. So I come to these 5 days every month and I kind of have my mentality straight. I'm here to pour into these people so that they find value in what I have to offer them. So let's get into the details. I do my free 5-day groups every month around the very end of the month. So let me talk to you about my last 5-day and kind of how that plays out on the calendar. My last 5-day group started on March 28th and ended on April 1st. And that is, so does anyone know why I do it? I'll answer that for you. Basically, the reason I do that is so that I get all of my Success Club points at the beginning of the month. And so this past month, when I did my last 5-day, we ended on a Friday, the 1st, and I had 15 points by April 4th. Am I freezing up a little? I think I am. Let me run upstairs. Am I frozen? There we go. Okay. Okay, sorry. So on the 4th of this month, I had 15 points, and that's because I do most of my inviting at the end of the 5-day. So let me go through a little bit more. My goal is to always have those Success Club points at the beginning of the month, and I always do my paid challenge 2 weeks started yesterday, so on the 11th, April 11th. And I stick to that schedule every single month because I don't want to veer from that, because as soon as I veer from that schedule, I'm feeling like my points aren't adjusting right. Stephanie, can you let me know, am I freezing? Because you guys are all frozen.
If you can go upstairs, is there a better internet upstairs?
Yeah, let me try. This is the first time doing it from here. Let me try going to my husband's office.
We're your guinea pigs.
Yeah, sorry. I apologize. It won't work any better? How come? Let's just try a different spot. If it doesn't work up here, we can go down to the basement. I had the extender put up, but obviously it's not doing the trick. Okay, is that better?
We'll try here. I mean, I hear you fine here, so.
No. Sorry.
No worries. It happens. It happens. No worries.
The basement. Can you turn off all the Wi-Fi stuff?
It's good for you to know for when you do your calls.
Sorry, though. I should have tested it with my team first. I think we're going to need a stronger extender. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, I hear you fine. I see you walking around and everything, and I hear you.
Okay. So now we're down in my basement. I'm giving you a tour of my new house. Okay. This is actually okay. I have a table down here and everything. This is where I work out. Okay. All right. Well, sorry. Got flustered for a second. So I have that schedule every month. And so my next one will be on May 2nd. And that's because the end of this month doesn't really end at the beginning of May. It's kind of awkward. And that's because I do most of my inviting at the end of that 5-day around the Thursday or Friday. And I wouldn't want people ordering, at the end of the month when I want them ordering at the beginning. So that's really important. I teach all my coaches, follow that schedule. I have my 5 days and my 21 days planned out for the whole year in January. And I give that calendar to my team and they all follow it to a T. Even if I'm on vacation, I make sure that I'm sticking to that schedule. I'll do I use Buffer, or I'm starting to use my Challenger app. I'm not as big of a fan of it because of the video. Like I love using videos in my groups and I can't do that yet. I'm hoping that they'll add that feature. So I stick to that schedule. Now let's go into what I do to get people on board. I create an event 2 to 3 weeks ahead of my 5-day. And I do it both from my like page and my personal page. I know most coaches are trying to get away from their personal page. I'm slowly getting there, but I haven't been highly successful using my like page for my events. I do a lot of posting on my like page. I know your coach is amazing on her like page. I've been stalking it and see how many followers she has. But I don't have a humongous following on my like page, and it's probably my own fault. But so I create a personal event, a public event from my personal page, and about 2 to 3 weeks out, I open that. I have an eye-catching image, and I always create it in banner form so that it can go at the top of the event. I can even share that, on my personal page, on my like page. I share everywhere. I even go back and I share in my old clean eating groups. I share in my old 21-day groups. I keep them open because I get a lot of people from those groups who just aren't on Facebook. Like I have to remind my team, like not everybody's on Facebook like we are. Like they may be missing this, but if I post in an old group, it would come up as a notification for them. So I post back in all of those old groups this eye-catching banner with a catchy little phrase. Like I did spring cleaning 5-day from this past month, and I had this really cute girl with her spray bottle, and just I come up with something that's catchy and that people will want to join, and it looks kind of fun for everybody. So 2 to 3 weeks in advance, I post the event. I post videos in the event, videos of me giving them a taste of what it's like to join a 5-day. I post videos about, what the goal of this group is. I post videos saying, feel free to invite a friend or 2 or 3. And if you and your friend finish the challenge together, you would get a Shakeology sample. And so they end up inviting people to the event because they're like, oh, I want a Shakeology sample. And the reality is that most of them don't finish, but now I have 3 new contacts that I wouldn't have had before because they want a Shakeology sample. They think they might get it. If someone refers 5 people, they still would only get 1 Shakeology sample, and one of those people has to finish. So on any given 5-day, I probably am out about maybe 10 Shakeology samples, and my biggest group has gotten up to 300 people for my 5-day. And then I'll ask questions in the event, like multiple choice questions, like what is your favorite breakfast items? And maybe I can add something into the menu that, would be a healthy version of that. And so they have to answer. I'll be like, or would you prefer breakfast burritos, a whole wheat waffle with peanut butter and banana, or this, and A, B, or C? And then they get responding. And the whole point of all these posts in the event is because then it pushes this event and those type questions into people's news feeds over and over and over again. And they're seeing that people are interacting, and people always want in on the fun. And then I will preview some of the meals the week before. I'll make a dinner or a breakfast, and I'll take a picture of what it is and maybe share one recipe, and I'll preview that in the event as well. So I'm using this event almost like it's a group, basically, and that gets people excited. I have boosted my like page events before. It does not do as well as getting these natural interactions within the event. So if you can be thinking creatively, like what could I put in there that will get people, replying and responding, it's huge. So after people start joining the event, remember we're 2 to 3 weeks out still. This gives me the perfect time to start building relationships with these people. I will say, within the event, I'll say, if we're not friends, please send me a friend request. You don't want to get in Facebook jail for sending out too many friend requests. So please go ahead and send me a friend request so that I will be able to add you to the group. If we aren't friends, I can't add you. So that a lot of times will get people naturally friend requesting me. And that's the opportunity right there. Like if someone's shooting me a friend request, I reach out to them right there with a pretty generic first introduction. Like, hi, I'm Jen. I'm so excited to have you in my 5-day group. And this is opening the doors again to start building trust with people, get some of their basic goals, get, what attracted them to the group, get what they feel like their weaknesses are. It is always amazing to me. I just was talking to my best friend who is not a coach. She's a unique girl and she's actually really good at it. But just how we have the opportunity in this business. It's so cool. We're almost like social workers, really. And the more you can get people to share, like obviously we aren't qualified to give professional advice on things, but the more you can get people to open up, the more, you can get to their goals, you can get down to what their weaknesses are and what they need help with and what we can support them or how we can best support them. Like that's the whole point of me opening up this event early is really to get to know these people. On Wednesday before the start date, I open my group. And I have an assistant who actually helps me now get the people moved from my event over to my group. Because at that point, I've already posted in old groups too. So she'll go through the old groups to see who's replied there. She kind of gathers my people. But at the beginning, I had like 25 people. It wasn't that hard for me to go ahead and put them into the group. On Thursday night, I make sure that I have posted the grocery list. And the way my menus are is they feed 1 for all meals except dinner, which serves 4. And I found that meets the needs of most people. Obviously not everybody, but the needs of about 75% of people. And if it's someone who's single, I say, that's awesome. It's an opportunity for you to take those dinners and freeze them for the next month. You would have dinners then. That will help the people who are singles. And then typically the people who are bigger families I kind of work with. I have a couple girls who continually do my groups and they have families of like 8. So I work with them. So that's what the grocery list serves. And then I also post a document, which would be my guidelines that kind of gives them what to expect. And I'm happy to share what I put in my guidelines with all of you too when we're done. It's just a 1-pager and it even touches on Shakeology because Shakeology is on every menu for each day. But I also provide an alternate snack list if they don't have Shakeology because not everybody does. But that again, it piques their curiosity, gets them like, oh, what is this? And there have been many, many times where our week hasn't even begun and I've sold a challenge pack because they're like, oh, I see that Shakeology is on the grocery list to begin with. Like, yeah, it's what I use as a meal replacement. It's nutrient dense. I go into how it's benefited me over time. So I'll sell sometimes without even trying that first. It's really a big opportunity. I feel like a lot of my girls on my team take advantage of that as well. I also will offer the sampler. I forgot, in the event, I will mention that it's on the menu. If you're interested in trying the sampler, why don't you shoot me a message? And I prefer that because every once in a while I'll catch people in my groups who are coaches on my team, or I should say customers of coaches on my teams who sometimes, like if it's someone who's just dabbling with coaching, I'm fine with them joining the group. But I would want them to order through their coach, obviously. So I say, shoot me a message and I'll send you the link to order the sampler. And I probably have about 10 people each time who will try the sampler that way. I also post a Google form. And can I screen share? Is that okay? I'm going to show you what I put on my Google form. Okay. So here is my Google form. And this is kind of their prerequisite for sticking in the group. So on the Google form, I asked their first and last name, and I think I forgot on this one. Let me go, I did, which is really bad. You have to ask for their email address. Because if something were to ever go awry, at least you would have their email address. This was from last June. I should have pulled up my most recent. And I think this is when I realized I forgot my email address, and I may have asked for them after. So I put their first, please give me your first and last name, who referred you to this group, if someone did. And this kind of catches then for me, like I'll know if a Shakeology sample's on the line for this person. Are you currently working with a Beachbody coach? Because I'll have people who try to slip in who are already working with someone outside of my team, and that to me, I'm not going to invest my time in somebody who has a coach that they feel invested in. So this catches that as well. And I also put that disclaimer in my event. If you're working with a coach, this group isn't for you. This is for people who aren't already working with somebody. I kind of like to see how many clean eating groups they've done in the past. I get their before measurements and weight. And what I've gotten good at too is typically I write in now, please record this on a piece of paper that you have, on your desk or wherever, because once they submit this, they don't have those measurements, and I want them to have them, because I do another Google form at the end that says how many inches did you lose in your bust, your waist, your hips, and I don't want to have to go back and forth and tell them what their beginning measurements were. So current weight, I ask for their fitness levels, what they do for exercise, and then some specific goals for this week. So this is like the best, because I'm able to then put it into a spreadsheet, print it off, and I'll even add some more categories for their daily check-in, so I can kind of go through and just check if they checked in. So that is a requirement. If they do not have that by Monday at noon, and I will say it in the group over and over, you need to have this filled out by Monday at noon. I'll do a video welcoming them. You need to have that form filled out Monday by noon. So they've had multiple, reminders, or I guess you could say warnings. They do get removed from the group if they have not filled it out. And that is just showing them that I think that accountability is important, that my time is valuable. There has to be a little give and take. They can't just get all, this is free. So like they need to give a little too. I'm not asking for the world from them. So that is a requirement of the group. I'll do another Google form at the end of the week to capture their weight loss and inches lost, because I like to shout them out when they've done a great job, or I like to total up the amount of pounds and inches that they've lost. And that's so cool to share with the rest of the world, like this actually works. And like imagine when you have like 50 people and all together they lost 152 pounds and 103 inches, and you put that on your Facebook page, people are going to know that what you're doing is legit. So I like to have those at the end of the week. Let me see. I don't just remove them from the group if they haven't filled out their Google form. I will send them, I have my admin person help me now, but I do send them a quick little reminder saying, I see that you did not fill out your Google form. It seems to me that this week is not going to work out for you. I have another group planned on this date. Or if you feel like this group is too rigid and structured, I also have a 21-day group that starts on this date where you get menus ahead of time. The whole kit and caboodle, I kind of explain why that might be a better fit for them. And it never fails. I'll get one or two people who are like, you know what, that sounds like a better fit for me. And so I can sometimes sell a challenge pack that way. Then daily, let me tell you what we get posted daily. I put their menu out on their Monday menu gets posted on Sunday morning. So they have a full 24 hours to get prepped and ready to go. Daily, there is a check-in, and it's very basic. Things like, how much water did you drink today? Did you get any workout in of some sort? Did you rate on a scale of 1 to 5 how well you followed the menu? And then is there anything else you want to add? And that's basically it. And that is their other requirement. If they aren't doing their daily check-ins, they get removed from the group. It is so hard at the beginning. I remember this. I have to tell my coaches, I remember when I only had 10 people in my group and I had to remove 3 of them, and how it's like painful to be like, but I need these people. Like I don't have a huge warm market at the time, but I think that it just proves that what you're doing, you find valuable, and that you feel confident in what you're offering and confident in the process. And they'll be like, well, I just want the menu. And I'm like, that's not what this is about. This is about accountability and about, moving forward with your goals. And if I gave you everything all up front, it's not going to work for you. I have 2 girls who I've given in the past because they've had issues like with allergies and whatnot. And it never fails that the people that I've given everything at the very front, I never hear from them again. So it's not about that. You have to be confident when you're removing them, kind, but confident. All you're asking for is the Google form and a check-in. It's really not a lot of work. Every day I also post encouragement, water reminders, lots of tips that I've learned along the way that, if they're feeling frustrated with not having any creamer in their coffee that's sweetened, I'll give them a homemade recipe or little things like that. And I'm really in tune to what they're putting in their check-in so that I can address those issues by way of a post on that. I also put a sample workout in each night so that it's just a little list, like 30 burpees, just a little list. And I'm not a huge fitness buff. I love doing my workout videos, but I don't even know what the moves are called. I just kind of follow along. But there's another girl on my coach's team who is a personal trainer, and she put together these just cute little visuals of, what a workout could possibly be. So I do that every day as well. And here's what I think is the game changer. Posting videos once a day in the group. I'm going to give you kind of my schedule of how I break it down. On Monday, I do what it's like to sugar detox, some symptoms they may experience, kind of the scientific madness behind sugar detox. I've done a lot of research on it and what they can expect with headaches and dizziness. And some people, it's legit scary, the symptoms they feel. And I want them to be prepared for that. So I address that right up front in Monday's video. I also will talk about them needing to follow the menu schedule. Even if they're not feeling hungry, they need to keep up with the schedule because, you're less likely to grab junk when your belly's full. So follow the schedule. And I also will talk about if you are feeling hungry, I want them to add a snack. I don't ever want my people to feel hungry. There's no need for that. So add an extra snack from the list that I provided. On Tuesday, I talk about the importance of hydration and how we often confuse hydration with hunger. So you see, I'm feeding them value. Like they're looking at me as an expert on the topic. On Wednesday, I talk about the importance of fitness and how it doesn't need to be an hour long. I do these videos like 21 Day Fix, and I'm done in 30 minutes. There's a new one out called 22-Minute Hardcore. So I talk about, what I do to show effectiveness and with fitness. And I'll even share my before and afters, how I lost all this weight just by doing these quick little videos. And then on Thursday, I talk about why the group works. Because by then they're feeling really good. They're like, my headache's gone. I have clarity of thought. I feel stronger. And these recipes are amazing. They taste so good. I didn't think that healthy food could taste like this. And so they're just like on fire. And by then they're encouraging each other a little bit too. And they start to connect. So I talk about, this group works because of the accountability and the connections that are being made. And it's really the group that's doing it. On Friday, I do my invite video. I'll talk a little bit about Shakeology because By then, some of the people have tried Shakeology, and they're, talking about it in the group. They might put up their shake that they're drinking it. I have, customers in there too who are putting up, oh, I tried this snickerdoodle shake today. It's so good. So I'll talk about Shakeology, and I'll invite them to my upcoming 21-day group. If you're looking for more, I would love to have you in this 21-day group that starts on April 11th. We're going to use Shakeology. You're going to get all these menus. You're going to get the support and love and encouragement that you're getting here. And I think the videos help them to feel like they know me too. Because like right now, you probably are feeling more comfortable with me, who I am as a person. It's something about a video changes things. I make them new every group. And some people don't, and that's okay. I just feel like I can tailor them to the group's needs. Every group is different, just the way that people interact. And I can address, like, well, Sally said her head was pounding today. It's going to get better, I promise. And people feel like they're getting to know me. Those groups or those videos are key in the group. So, and then Friday I posted that video, and then right away I put up the event. And it's typically in the afternoon because Friday evenings are a bad time to put anything up. But in the afternoon, people are like trying to get out of work and they're bored, so they'll scroll through the group. I'll put up my event for the 21-day group. And if I know that there's some people who I already have invited or interested, I'll go ahead and I'll start like tagging them in the comments of that group, saying, I'm so happy that Sally's already decided to join. And that's going to push that post up because people will be posting other things, especially as your groups get bigger. But I keep commenting. As people comment on that post, I tag them in the comments, and it keeps pushing that post up within the group. And it's the same thing as, it's Facebook affinity. It's craziness. I continue to respond in the comments so that that post does not get lost. I typically will say something like, I have 10 spots reserved for new people. I would love to have you on board. Of course, if there's 15 people, I'm not going to say no, but it does kind of give them a sense of like, oh, I better get, my butt on this. It's required to have Shakeology for the group. Always required. I don't know how you guys do it, but that's for me, it's a no-brainer. It's way too good for them not to be using it. It's way too easy for them not to be using it. And I'll say, like, if it felt like it was crazy because you're making lunch every day, Shakeology could be the answer for you in this 21-day group. I'm totally out of order. Oh, okay. So then after people have started responding to this event, I go through I made that spreadsheet. The people who have been the most on point for checking in, my groups are so big, I cannot personally invite every person, but back in the day I did. So I would say if you have under 50 people, you need to be inviting every single person personally to your event, your 21-day event, via voice messenger, because then people are feeling connected to you. So when it was under 50, I did that. My groups now can be between 100 and 300. I cannot do that anymore. But what I'll do is I'll go through the spreadsheet and kind of see who has been the most responsive in this group. I put notes on that, and I will go through and personally invite all of like my top 50 people until I have like 20 points or whatever. That's kind of my goal each month. I want to just say, for 1 year, it took a lot of pushing, and I worked with my success partner in these 5 days every month until we were over 100 people and I can't work together anymore. It was a very sad day. We had to break up. But I worked with her so closely, and I was pushing for those points. They come easier now, but that's only because, my client list has grown. Something I've done in the hard months, like December and November, because of holidays, seem tough for me every year. I will do little mini challenges Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they are related to like the holiday that's around there. So Thanksgiving, we'll do gratefulness challenges. Like on Monday, I want you to write a letter to someone that you're thankful for, I don't know, something that they helped you with this past month, and take a picture of the letter and put it in the comments, and I'll enter you in a raffle for a Shakeology sample and an Under Armour headband. And you wouldn't believe the interaction you get on those things just from the little push. And then it ends up like tugging on their heartstrings because we just want to feel, people want to feel. And like, I think that those little mini challenges can help during those hard months. At Christmas time, we did giving challenges. So on Monday, leave something for one of your community workers that was a surprise, and someone put like a cup of coffee out for their garbage man or something along those lines that gets them in the holiday spirit and just makes them. It really is like a mind, body, soul business. I really feel that way, and when you can get them feeling and an emotional connection to it, really just helps make these groups successful. So that's a little something extra that I add in. And let's see, there's one other thing I forgot. Oh, before and after pictures. I don't require them anymore. I did at the beginning. I show them my before and afters and how like there wasn't a huge weight change with the first before and afters I had, but you could see such a difference. So I share mine at the beginning of the week so that they are interested in, taking those and sending them to you, because it's always surprising to me that people really are okay most of the time if you take their head off the pictures and sharing those on your personal page. And that is gold. If you can get some good before and afters. I have a couple from my 5-day where the person does not even look like the same person. It's insane, the results they've had. That gets people really interested. So if you can encourage them to send you, there's some people who just don't feel good about it. And I did require it for a while. And then I started to feel like, it was really hard for me at the beginning. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad my coach made me, because I have them now to see the huge difference. But I lose some of my older clientele that way when I'm okay if it's just going to be measurements and weight. I'm okay with that. But if you can encourage them to do that, it's definitely worth it. So I have a few questions that I've been asked, I feel like, over and over. So I thought I'd just quick run through those questions. Do I always stick to that calendar? I think I said that already. Yes, I stick to it every single month. We were on the cruise and I had a 21-day group starting. It is what it is. Like, we get them going. I pre-plan my posts if I have to. Okay. I advertise. I said this too. I advertise in my old 5 days and 21 days, not only for the next 5 days and 21 days, but I also do it for my sneak peeks into what is coaching, along with like webinars. And I always catch 1 or 2 people from my old groups that join them. I have a couple coaches now who are doing really well, who, if I hadn't stuck them in my old groups, I don't know that they ever would have come to me. So that's a reason why I keep mine open. People who say no, or I don't know if this is for me, for my 21-day group, I go ahead, I write their name right away on my calendar for the next month to go back and revisit with those people. And I always will re-invite them to my next 5-day. And that kind of opens the door for me to invite them again. So that their name always goes in the calendar for the next month. I never post links in my events for anything. I do that via personal message. This is a big question. Do I ever say you've joined enough 5-day groups? You're not allowed to join anymore because my numbers have gotten bigger? And no, they're allowed to join for as long as they want. And I only have had one person who's joined for like more than 4 months who hasn't bought anything from me. There was a girl who did my 5-day groups for 8 months. It's one of my closest friends. And I'm like, oh my goodness, she's never going to move past it, because people can keep joining 5 days. They're not, it's not going to be as effective because it's not then sticking. It's not a lifestyle change that's lasting for long term. This girl finally joined my challenge group, my 21-day group this past month. And if I had said, nope, you can't join my 5-day anymore, I don't know that would have happened otherwise. So, I am choosing to have faith that the people that like the free will eventually come back to me, and almost all of them have at this point. So I continue to let them join. I've had this question asked, how do I keep my group clean? Because once your numbers get higher, there's a lot of people posting in the group. What I do so that people don't get frustrated is at the beginning of the week, I do a quick little how-to video on how to search within the group, like where the little search bar is. I do a quick video to show them how to find the files so that they can go right in and find files, because it'll shock you that 75% of the people don't know how to do those features. I don't think I even knew how to use the group search button until about 6 months ago. So I do a quick video, it's a little tutorial. I'll even show them how to get entered into the Google form, especially for people who are a little bit older. I even have some 70-year-olds that do my group. I love them. They're amazing. But they need that. So, whatever hand-holding I can do at the beginning to help make the group go a little bit smoother is helpful up front. I also will teach them if the notifications are too much, they can turn them off, show them where that button is. Obviously, I prefer that they see them, but it can be too much. And they have to go in and check in anyway, so they're going to be going in the group each day. Someone asked me about my progression over time, like how long did it take to get up to your high numbers? And it really was 6 months before I had more than like 45, 50 people, because I didn't have a huge warm market. I'm a very shy introvert person. So it took a while, but I continually asked for referrals. And once people felt that I actually cared about them, they were handing people over left and right. And then this is always a question that comes up. Do I think that having a huge group, it makes it more effective for converting to paid challengers? And I don't think so. I think that my ratio has actually gone down of people who are converting to paid customers for how many people are in my group, because something about the intimacy of a smaller group, it's just more effective. So when my girls on my team are like, Jen, I only have 35 people. And I'm like, that's amazing. You probably could get half of these people on board by the end of the week. Whereas when I have 200 people, it's so much harder to develop those deeper, close relationships. I almost have to pick a handful of people that I'm really going to focus on during the week. So don't be frustrated at the beginning. I had 7 people and then 12 people and then 15. And it was a slow process of making these groups bigger. And this process that I've shared with you with the events and stuff, it's all stuff that I'm continually perfecting. And that's why my groups are getting bigger each time. What percentage end up actually finishing? I'd say by the end of the week, only about 75%. So don't get frustrated if it's your first time, going at this full steam ahead and you lose a ton of people, especially at the beginning. Have faith in the process. And do I ever provide the full menu ahead of time? And I have a few people who have those large families that I'm okay with because I trust them. But I think that something's lost when they get it all up front. I'm ending here, but I try to remind my girls, you have to trust that this process will work, that they have to remember that they're in this. You need to go back to your why, you're in this to help people, and you're not going to be helping them if you're handing everything over at the beginning. You really want them to benefit from the accountability of the group. And you have to remember that this is a business. And while it's in my genetic makeup to be I'll give you whatever you want, it's not going to benefit anyone in the long run, you or the people you're working with. So with that being said, I hope, I'm always curious. I had one team I did a call for that they're what are you talking about? I don't even know what a free group is. So I'm always curious to hear from other teams, how do you guys get people on board? So I hope that I hope you were able to get something from what I shared for sure.
Oh my goodness, Jen. So I'll answer that question. I was so excited for you coming on because I know the value of clean eating groups. I know that they work, or not even clean eating groups, but just a free group. And actually, if you guys listen to the National Wake Up Call this week, she, she spoke to that. And so just kind of the idea of adding something for free. And I think it's such a powerful way for a new coach to really start gaining some momentum in their business. I think for me, I don't do them as much anymore. So I feel like my newer coaches coming on now don't see it as much as I did, with my older coaches when we used to run them more. And so that's why I was so excited to have you on here, because it is something, that really does work.
Yeah. I definitely think that if you're thinking about doing this, definitely get with a partner.
Right.
Because I think that there's so much confidence that is built from working with somebody.
Right.
And there's like power in numbers, and you can split up the responsibilities because it is a lot of work. My kids know that, my poor kids, they're almost 8 on Saturday and 5. They know when mommy's doing a 5-day each month. My husband knows that on Thursday and Friday night of a 5-day, Jen's out of commission. So like they're my busiest days of the month. So if you can work with someone, do it for sure.
I know I have a bunch of questions, but I want to see if I want to allow the team. Does anyone have any questions, or do you want me to ask I guess I can ask my question. Let's see. Someone here is saying, great info. So your event invite is public, so anyone can join, correct? Then you create the group and that's private.
Correct. That's right.
Okay.
You want that as public as possible.
Awesome. Stephanie, can we do a training call on how to set up clean eating groups or free accountability groups? I haven't created one in so long that I do not know how to do it. We can definitely, in general, I can provide a call, or if you look at the team training site, there's also information in the team training site on how to set up the clean eating groups. So I'm going to start with my questions for right now. So you have a new coach who comes on.
Yep.
How often, like how soon do you have them do a clean eating group?
So I have every month, I'll just give you my team kind of background so you have an idea. Like we're doing a backstage right now. My new coach training will start on Friday, and we'll go 7 days. And then after that 7 days, I do little videos each day and just they have a quick assignment each day. It keeps it really basic and simple. And if they make it all the way through those 7 days with doing all the assignments, we do a getting started right call together. I might help some of my downline with their getting started right call. And on that getting started right call, they're already being told your next clean eating challenge is going to start on May 2nd. And we'll have an idea of who else has made it through, and we can pair up those people together. I have a document that has post this on this date, and it goes through. I mean, it's really like my 8-year-old could probably run a clean eating group from this document that we had. So they're given that, and then of course I'm there for them. Like sometimes if I know that they're only going to have like 2 or 3 people, or even anything less than 10, I'll let them join me for the first one if they don't have a partner that they feel confident working with. So they're getting it, they're planned to go. And I had my calendar set up that way so that, they're able to put up that event right at the end of their training.
Okay. So you encourage them to do a group on their own, or like you said, partner up with someone.
Yeah.
And so for where you are right now, you are predominantly only running clean eating groups right now, just for your clients, people that.
Correct.
And then
my group's too big. Like
correct.
People get lost in the shuffle.
Right.
Like if it were up to me, I always go in if they're working with somebody and they do their own. I'm like, go ahead, put me in the group so I can kind of keep my eye on how it's going and say, why don't you try doing this or this? But yeah, people get lost. Like it's intimidating.
And I think that's valuable to know, because we have coaches at different levels on this call. And so I think, depending on where you are, if you are a newer coach and you have and you're kind of really starting, or you're a brand new coach, or maybe you're recommitting, understanding that it's perfectly fine for you to team up with someone and make, and run a clean eating group with them. And then for my coaches that have more of a bigger team, realizing that it's okay to put that onus on your coaches, and that it's okay because I think a lot of times, and maybe that you've seen this, where as you grow as a leader too, you become, you feel bad in a sense, like you're not bringing them on board and you're not helping them as much. but I think it's also beneficial to them to be doing it on their own.
My coach is an amazing coach, but she makes us own our business.
Right.
And it's probably because she doesn't have an upline who really helped her. She's a master trainer, her upline, she's busy. So yeah, she found it valuable to just be like, let us flounder a little, like, let us work for it, because I think it's almost like with our challengers, if we give them everything, they're not going to learn to, sustain this lifestyle. Or as a coach, I think we need to figure out our way kind of, and make those groups our own and figure out what works for us and what doesn't.
Absolutely. Zakia here says, can you provide a good example for how to do a good post for Facebook or Instagram to invite to the clean eating group?
How about, can I share it with Stephanie after?
Mm-hmm.
I'll send it to you. But basically what I do is I create the event. I don't have to do as much anymore now, guys. So like, I feel like even you looking at my page, you're going to be like, she doesn't do a whole lot to attract people.
I guess in the beginning, kind of thinking back, how frequently did you just set up an event page and not post about it?
In the beginning, I didn't do events because I didn't know what I was doing. But I'd put a post up. I'd have a pretty picture, and I'd include before and afters of somebody that I've worked with in the past. And I'd say, hey guys, I have this free group coming up. I would love to have you join me. Some of the things that I've heard after have been this, and this, because they feel great and recharge. If you're looking to get over a plateau, or if you're looking to jumpstart your health and fitness journey, I would love to get you on track with this free 5-day. And I had that before and after. I am not a woman of many words. I am not a wordsmith like a lot of coaches I see out there. So I've always kept it pretty simple. But I'd be happy. Let me try to dig up some old ones that were really successful, and I can send them your way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So someone says here, can you go over your challenge group timeline? And I'm wondering what she's referring to specifically. But and Leah, if you want to clarify what you mean specifically by her challenge group timeline. But I know going off of that, so you run your clean eating group the last week of the month. And then it sounds like you give a week break between the end of your clean eating group and the start of your 21-day group.
And that's so that their challenge packs can get there in time.
Correct.
So I will tell them, you really need to order by Sunday night so that you have it in sufficient amount of time. Obviously, I'll take people who haven't ordered by then because they'll have it on demand. Their program, they'll be without Shakeology for a couple days. But yeah, that gives it that week time, and it kind of gives them a little pressure to get that ordered quickly. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. I also will say in my 5-day, I'm opening up this 21-day group to you first before I put it out to the public. Because Sunday night, I'm putting it out to anyone else. I want to give you guys first dibs. And there have been times where I've closed my group because it's gotten big enough within my 5-day before I even put it out on Facebook anywhere else. And I'll still put it out on Facebook. Like, I'm so excited to get started with this group that came from my 5-day. We are full and we are ready to go. Like, just to get people realizing, like, there might not always be a spot for them. So,
so do you
get on it early.
So you max out on for your 21-day, you will take a certain amount, or?
Yeah, I feel like if it's over 40 people, I start to lose them a little bit. So, and
that's,
I will.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I will never take more than 20 new people ever. Because something's lost, and my best coaches come from my challenge groups. And if I'm not able to give them what they need, it gets too much. So I will max out. I think the most successful points I've ever had were like 42. And that's because I was like, no more, I can't do anymore. So, I've tapped out before.
And so this is guys, I want, kind of listening to her, because this scheduling is key. And I think, everyone runs challenge groups differently. And I think one question I always have for someone who runs, so it sounds like you run it for 3 weeks and then you start a new group. You essentially start a new group. What?
A new 5-day.
What?
A new 5-day. Because I'll be coming out the 21-day and it's always going right into the 5-day. It works out perfectly every month.
And so then what do you do for those people who buy like in the second, I think that should be a common question, I think, where it's like, what do you do with those people?
I am top heavy for my challenge packs. I sell most of them within that first 2 weeks. I'm not saying that I don't ever have people who, I'll tell you, my sister just bought a challenge pack for the first time ever. Hallelujah. For a 22-minute hardcore challenge pack. She actually signed as a discount coach. So she just bought, and I'm halfway through the 22-minute hardcore, and I'm like, you are more than welcome to hop in. And then when I start my next 21 day, you can start fresh there as well. So I give them that opportunity. If you want to jump in for some accountability before you start fresh, you're more than welcome. It's not ideal, but it's so rare that I have that I may have new coaches with a challenge pack mid-month, but they kind of know what to expect, that their group's not going to be starting for a while.
I think that's interesting. Now that kind of I've asked you that question and I kind of think about it, I guess when you are kind of running it in that way, you're going to be promoting it kind of really at the end of the month. And so then most of your sales will come in the beginning of the month. And then if you're kind of using the rest of the month to kind of set up for the following 5-day clean eating challenge, and I never actually really thought about that like that. You're kind of having some structure to your focus, if that makes sense, to kind of what you're focusing on throughout the month. So coaches, I think this is a great kind of way, because I know for me, I've lacked structure. I'll be really honest. I've lacked structure, and I think, a lot of people, some of my team members know that. But in terms of just the way that I've seen other coaches like yourself, I think the way you're doing it is a very good way, to do it, because you do divide your focus, and as a result, have more long-term success.
My coach calls kind of what we do batching. So batch inviting. I may have 75 invites within a 3-day period, and then might only have a few trickled throughout the rest of the month. So it's kind of how I'm set up to be effective. I tell my new coaches, you aren't going to be able to have the luxury of just batch inviting like me, because you don't have that huge influx of people at the beginning of the month, but you will get there, like it's coming. So,
Someone says, can people who, do you create your menus based on 21-day fix? Meaning, do you use the containers, or do you just do it based on calories?
That's a really good question, because when we first started doing this 21-day fix had just came out, but I had already kind of learned to do it without it. My menus do not fit perfectly with the 21-day fix. There's definitely more cheese involved. There's definitely, just some extra hummus or whatnot. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn close. So I do it off the 1,300 calorie kind of benchmark is what we look at. And then I tell people, if you are hungry, you need to add. Like, no one should ever be hungry, but I don't want to say like, you're a 190-pound male, you need to add 500 to 600 more calories. I never say that. I just kind of say, as you're feeling like some hunger, I want you to go ahead and add. To nursing moms, pregnant moms, I never will say, you need to add a certain amount, but just eat off of this snack list that I provide as well. So yeah, I keep the 21-day fix in mind. I try to keep it well balanced, but they're always effective. I've never had a menu not work.
Can people who are already customers be in the free clean eating group?
Yes.
Will the group get too big?
No. They're allowed in. Anyone's allowed in as long as they are not working with another coach outside of our team.
Okay. And then
they always do sneak in somehow.
And then you have Courtney says, is your 21-day group only based on the 21-day fix, or any program is welcomed?
Any program.
Yeah.
Typically what's on sale is what most of my people go to.
Yeah. Let me see. Oh, one question I had for some, if someone, for the meal plans, do you do, and this is a question, do you do fancy meal plans, or do you just do it like on a Word document, and you kind of like, what is your, because I know for like a coach, they may say, well, I can't, I'm not design savvy.
I'll show you. I'm going to screen share, because this is the one I'm going to give you guys.
Okay.
Here is the grocery list. I even label like, you need Roma tomatoes Monday and Friday, MF, you see there. The proteins labeled, because some people like their fish fresh. Some people like to get fresh chicken. So they have the days of the week kind of listed next to them. So it's a 1-page grocery list, this one. This was one of my first ones. And oh, wait, that's not the same one, is it? Hold on. I'm going to have to go back through and check. But yeah, see, it's nothing fancy.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly.
Monday. No, they're nothing beautiful. They get the job done though. And the recipes are really good. But I'm going to I'll share one of them with you. Just making sure this is the right one. So no, that's it.
And that's great, because I think it's important, especially for kind of coaches to kind of see that you're basically given a very basic plan, and you're not, you don't need to be PicMonkey and Canva, happy, and you can still be effective with just, putting together. And I like that you're saving these, and you're, now that you've been doing this so consistently, you have this collection of menus that you can now possibly recycle, and kind of gift to your coaches as they're kind of starting anew.
Yeah. I always say it's my gift to you guys. Do not go out and create menus until you feel like you want to.
And then I think the only other thing I know and I'm not sure if anyone else has any, but I like the way that you invite with the voice messaging. I think that's key, guys. I think you see how much of her they are seeing in her groups. So it's not just text, guys, and it's not just, photos. You have to understand and that people need to hear you. They need to see you. They need to hear the inflection in your voice. They need to see your mannerism for them to be able to connect with you. And I think what I love about you, Jen, is what you said. You are someone who's shy. You're someone who's an introvert. And I know that, there are a lot of coaches on my team who feel that being shy and being an introvert hurts them. Can you speak to that a little bit? And maybe kind of what?
Yeah, I will say that coaching has brought a confidence in myself that I've never had in my life. So it's like, coaching is such a gift. It makes me want to cry when I think about it. Just because, I don't know, I've always been kind of quiet, meek. I had a small circle of like amazing best friends, but very small circle. And to think, it's so funny. I was at church the other day and this man walks by and he was with his wife and he's like, "That's Jen McNeil." And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. But I think that the more I pour in and the more I fake it till I make it with my confidence and whatnot, I become what I'm doing. Like it comes with time. It comes with practice. I would say I was one who stumbled over my words at the beginning all the time. Thankfully, voice messaging wasn't available at the beginning, so I got to practice with typing. But once it did become available, I would just write out what I was going to say to the person, or kind of a generic kind of thing, and then I would tailor it to each person. And yeah, I really believe it's just practice that you can change, because I feel so much more confident. Like I led our Super Saturday in Rochester, New York with 150 plus people, things I never would have done. I can do now with ease, and I feel like kind of with some grace too, which is amazing. So I just think if you keep practicing, keep putting yourself out there, it just kind of, it's something that, you can develop your confidence level, your self-esteem. It's something that can come. So yeah, the voice messaging I think is so key to me getting people on board. I really believe that. I tell all my coaches, if I hear that you are not inviting with voice messenger, I'm going to be on you about it. So.
Well, Jen, I know I got a lot from this. I know that a lot of coaches on here, I'm seeing on the side here, have gotten so much from this. And, thank you so much for speaking with us and taking, a little more than an hour of your time. And guys, I really, this is, let me see, you mentioned something about removing people. Yeah. So she removes people that do not participate. That's correct. Right, Jen?
Yeah. They're not going to be flies on the walls. Yeah. That's out of respect to the people who are really all in too. It's not even just belief in yourself or, wanting them to be accountable. There's people who are putting their heart and soul into these 5 days, and someone doesn't need to just be watching. So yeah,
and I would imagine that in the beginning, it'll be hard. Like you were saying, it's harder when you only have like 10 people and you're just
very hard.
Oh my goodness, 5 of these people are not even showing up. And I think that's been a lot of, and I think it's just those typical growing pains as in that kind of that momentum building.
I'll tell you, one of my downline coaches had joined the girl that I was working with. So there were 3 of us. It was myself, my success partner, Stephanie Marsilia was her name. And one of my first downline coaches who started working was in the group. And she was the one who was like, you have to be removing people. Like, she was on me. She's a very confident person. And hearing her confidence, and that really helped me. So I know it's hard, but it will be worth it. You won't regret it a year from now for moving people.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. And I'll get some of that information for you to share with the team, and thank you for gifting us that clean eating plan. And, for those of you who are asking about clean eating plans, so we have one we have another one. So we'll have Jen, and then we have another one in the team training site. And then obviously, if anyone wants to make a meal plan, you can make a meal plan. And so if any of you are gifted in creating meal plans, that is a great way to contribute to the team, because
use the Fixate for it. I have one coach on my team who's put together Fixate recipes. She gives credit to the Fixate cookbook, obviously, and I'm on her meal plan, but she's paired up a bunch of them, and she's kind of come up with a creation from there. So you at least have that to go off of.
And also, like Nina was mentioning here, also using our program books too, ladies and gentlemen on the call, like using the program books, the guides, and creating, at the end of the day, like Jen said in the beginning, this is her niche. This is her niche. This is what she enjoys doing. And so this has really helped her, and so if you feel that this could be a niche for you, then that's an area to develop and to grow, and is not to expect me to come up with the meal plans, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not coming up with, so we're not coming up with meal plans. So if you want to run this and you want to do this, then you need to come up with the meal plans, and maybe we'll come up with one, but I'm just keeping.
That's a good point. My team did, we have a group where each person did one day. It's like called Fitwell. My team's Team Fitwell is like Fitwell Foodies, and each person created one day, and there's like 25 days stuck in there. They kind of just did this. If everyone does one day, you're going to have a lot to put. And then, one girl's the manager. She's really good at the menus, and she kind of piecemeals them together. But yeah, some of your people are saying the club membership, there's meal plans on there. Make sure you're taking advantage of those too.
Yeah, and like club membership's awesome for that, actually. Like, I don't know if you guys have dove into that, but like you can go by calorie level, you can take out certain foods you can't eat, and you can like do all these little drill downs and pick exactly. And then there's like literally like 50 pages worth, and there's videos too. So
yeah, that's good for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, guys, and you hear what she's saying, the groups she has, people are taking ownership of what they're doing, and they're stepping up. Jen's not doing everything, and so kind of keeping.
I did enough of that at the beginning. Yeah.
But thank you, and I really genuinely. This is the point of having guest speakers, especially someone like you, Jen, who really serves our team well. Like I said, because I think a lot of people see the top 10, they think of, they see top coaches, they see them being, extroverted, and they think they need to be a certain way. And then you have, the powerful leaders like yourself who are, and I think it serves as an example and an inspiration to kind of the other personalities that are there. So thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.
I'll get you all that stuff.
Yes, that'll be awesome. All right, guys. So thank you so much for coming on the call. And next week, our call will be next Monday, and we will have another guest speaker. So look out for that, and I'll put out her information. It's going to be a good time. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.